Hello everyone, welcome to today's Purple Penny coin news video. Sorry, 12 o'clock crept up on me in a rush. I thought I had plenty of time, but I didn't. I hope you can all hear me. The microphone looks like it's working okay. This week, last week was kind of an interesting week. We had a great sales week in the shop. There wasn't a lot of stuff coming in that we bought, just a few little collections. Not a lot going on online either. I've been keeping my eye on Facebook groups and what's going on online, and there's been, I'd say that at the moment that the coin market is a little bit quiet, but still having lots of fun here. We've got some new cabinets coming into the shop today. We've had one blank wall in the shop since we opened up a couple of years ago, and our original plan was always to do something along that wall. And we've got a big display cabinet and two wall-mounted cabinets coming today from Melbourne. They've been delayed somewhat because of the lockdown over there, and we're going to use those for to get the banknotes out of the cabinets that we use as shop counters because they're too hard to look at. We're going to put those up in the wall-mounted cabinets, and then the big display cabinet, we're not quite sure what we're going to do with that. We certainly don't have enough inventory to fill it up yet, not enough priced up inventory, but that's going to be a big push for us in the next few weeks, is getting that all ready to go. The delivery is due today before 1 o'clock. No doubt it'll come 2 minutes into this video. When that stuff is in the shop, we'll do a bit of a video and show you all what that looks like if you're not around to come in and have a look. So we've got lots of messages already. G'day Aaron, Gary Tate, Alex, Neil, Brendan, Werner, Jason, Matthew, John, Josh, Andrew, Blake, Paul and Russell. Hello to everyone. We've got a good bunch of people here saying good morning already. I would just like to say hello to Michael, who doesn't watch these live, but I know he watches them afterwards, and he was disappointed last week that we couldn't say hello to him if he's not watching it live. But hello Michael, when you're watching this later on today or tomorrow. So let's have a look at the news for today. Yesterday was the 33rd birthday of the $2 coin. The $2 coin, of course, was introduced in 1988. Planning for it began in 1985. Those of you who aren't in Australia, you might not know that the $2 coin is an aluminium bronze coin. It's a sort of a golden coloured alloy. It weighs 6.6 grams. Rather inexplicably, it is smaller than the dollar coin. It should, of course, be bigger, but it's not. The primary reason that we went to the $2 coin was financial. A paper note would only last 3 to 6 months, whereas the planned life for a $2 coin was 30 to 40 years. So it makes absolute sense to use $2 coins. I believe in 1988 the manufacturing cost was about 8 cents for a $2 coin. They were for a long time unloved. Certainly the least popular coin to collect up until about 2015, when the mint, in an effort to get people looking at their money because of the decrease in the use of cash, the mint started producing these coloured $2 coins in a deliberate attempt to get people looking at the change in their hands. And the coin collecting community woke up and thought, hey, these coloured $2 coins are interesting. And you could say fairly safely that the $2 coin now is the most popular coin to collect, which is a big switch around from 2014 or so. If you don't believe me, go and grab a coin catalogue from 2014 and you'll see that the entire $2 section in 2014 would fit on one page of the catalogue. Now it takes up several pages on the catalogue, so reflecting the interest that people have in those. So hello Russell, Don and Alex again, making jokes. Thanks Alex for keeping everyone entertained. There was another coin article in the news this week. It was the valuable $2 coin that you could find in your change, which they covered off on the Red Poppy. The Channel 7 journalists used the same TikToker as a source for that information. I think there's an Indian gentleman on TikTok that has 50-odd thousand followers and talks about coins and so on and so forth. And I got to say that the quality of the article was about 1,000 times better than the ones that have been appearing on Channel 9, and the information could almost be accurate, almost be deemed as accurate. So kudos to whoever at Channel 7 did that, and kudos to that guy on TikTok that is promoting coins so well to the Australian community. It's a good thing that he's been doing over there. Interesting that coins are in the news just yesterday about 2 gold coins that were metal detected in England. And those of you who aren't aware, you can find old coins in the ground in England, given that England has a pretty significant history. And there was a gold noble and what's called a gold leopard metal detected in England in the last few months, and I thought it was just interesting about the gold leopard because the gold leopard is a extremely rare coin. It was only minted under Edward III in 1344. It was only minted for a few months, and the face value of the gold leopard in 1344 was 3 shillings, and there's 12 pennies to the shilling, and back then pennies were silver, so 12 silver pennies to the shilling, and the gold leopard was 3 shillings, so 36 shillings. If you apply a inflation calculator to what 1 silver penny was, and back in 1344 a silver penny was 2 days pay, I believe, about 2 days pay, it means that the gold leopard today would have a face value of £12,000, which is pretty close to $20,000, and it would be interesting to see a coin that was quite small, because the gold leopards were sort of about that big, thin gold coins that had a face value of $20,000. That would be an interesting thing to see these days, and you'd wonder back then how many people there really were that could carry these things around. So yeah, that was an interesting bit of coin news and an interesting look at what money is worth now compared to 800 years ago. And the last bit of news there is the new cabinets, which I've already covered off on. We're looking forward to seeing those and getting some more displays here in the shop. Now, last week we talked about some common questions about getting coins graded by PCGS. The PCGS... Oh, hang on a second, people are distracting me with their comments here. Brendan Ayler says, what happened to the valueless HH $2? So, Brendan, I saw something hilarious this week in one Facebook coin group, and it was the suggestion that new members actually had to, prior to signing up, they actually had to answer a question that was something along the lines of, are you aware that the 1988 and 89 $2 coins with HH on them are only worth $2? Tick if you agree. So the valueless HH $2 thing, that all came out from the same guy on TikTok that I talked about before. And if you look at what he said on TikTok, he said they were only worth $2, but that someone on eBay was asking $12,000. And the Channel 9 journalist that picked up on that decided to, I won't say conceal the fact that they're only worth $2, but at least downplay it. They tended to just pump up the $12,000 side rather than the $2 side. Those that are new to the channel, HH $2 from 1988 and 89 are only worth $2. So please don't think that they're worth any more. Anyway, Alex is saying there was another record sale this week. An SS Central America rec coin sold for $55,000. I assume that was a gold coin. Alex, perhaps if you've got any more information, then that would be interesting to know. And Matthew says, imagine if you were the guy who dropped the gold leopard. Yeah, that would be like dropping how many $50 notes? It'd be 10, 20 times by 2,400 $50 notes, just dropping them and walking off and leaving them. You would be pretty dark with yourself. Right, PCGS. Those of you who don't know, PCGS slabs, PCGS, Professional Coin Grading Service. They're a company that's been around in America since the early 80s. It's what's called a third-party grading service. You send a coin over there, and they apply their grading standards to it and encapsulate it in a slab. That's what those plastic holders are called. The primary reason that you might do that is that PCGS have no interest in the grade that they give the coin, as long as they grade it to the standards that they happen to be adhering to at the time. PCGS grading is something that has has become much more popular in Australia since about 2008 or so. It's sort of increased in popularity. In the last 5 years, it has increased in popularity greatly with decimal coins, and because of that, it's become much more accessible to people. It was reasonably popular with pre-decimal coins. There are obviously a lot less collectors of those. Now that it's become much more popular with decimal coins, it's penetrated the marketplace a lot more people are aware of what it is. Last week we talked about why you wouldn't get coins graded, and this week I thought what we'd do is we'd actually have a look at 3 coins that we did get graded and why it was a good thing for us to get them graded, and hopefully you can learn some lessons from this. So the first thing is, why do you get coins graded? And there's 4 ideas there about why you might get a coin graded. The first one is that it's a high value coin. So it might be a 1923 halfpenny or a 1932 florin or a 1930 penny or a key date sovereign. And you would get it graded for protection purposes. So once it's graded and it's in this plastic holder here, it's reasonably safe from dirty fingers, and you can't impulsively drop it. Like, you can drop these slabs, but you're not going to damage the coin. It's safe from grandma's hands if she happens to get stuck into your coins with a silver cloth. You can't scratch it against a staple. So you've got a highly valuable coin that is in a plastic holder, and it's protected mechanically from damage. These newer holders, I believe, are airtight, so you're actually protected from humidity, so perhaps that's going to prevent bronze coins from toning so quickly. So there's reasons why you would get coins graded if they're valuable. The next reason is grade rarity. What's grade rarity? This is a terrible example, but back when we got this graded, it was a good example. It's a 1961 Y halfpenny, very common coin. Back in 1961, they were 1961. Back in the early 2000s, there weren't many of them graded, and we would tend to look through groups of coins and try and pick out the best example of a type of coin and get it graded. And then people who were collecting by PCGS grades, perhaps trying to get the highest graded halfpenny set or the highest graded shilling set or the highest graded 20-cent set, would purchase those high grades from us. So did we get every 1961 Y halfpenny graded? No. Did we get 1% graded that we saw? No. Probably, we probably only sent 3 or 4 out of thousands of coins that we saw. So a grade rarity is that coin that it might be a common coin, but it is of a grade that makes it hard to find it as a rare coin because of the grade. So there's 2 reasons why you do that. One is that it gives you an assurance of the grade. It is a top example, so if you were to take the coin back to a dealer and try to sell it, they can't argue with you that it's only EF or it's circulated or it's damaged or whatever, because the number's there and it's difficult to argue with the number on the coin. Sure, the coin might have some imperfections and they would be taken into account, but it is difficult to be undersold by a dealer if the coin is graded independently by a reputable third-party grader. And the other reason is it makes it more liquid. It makes it easier to sell as a top coin if it's in that grade. Third reason there is authenticity, so insurance and liquidity. So authenticity for a key date coin, authenticity for an error, authenticity for a gold coin. Once it's in that NGC or PCGS slab, then generally consumers believe that it is probably going to be an authentic coin. They have assurance that they're buying a real coin, especially in these days when people buy online. They don't get to see the coin. This might be all you get to see is you get to see a picture of this coin in the slab because you don't live here in Adelaide. You can't come and see the coin. So having it graded means that the authenticity is more assured and it makes it easier to sell. And the final one there is that PCGS, NGC, Anax, any of those reputable companies, often the description that they put on the coin in the holder makes it easier for people to understand what it is. And it might be a variety, it might be an error, it might be, I don't know, you know. So once that description is on the holder, it is then easier to understand what the coin is. And from a buying point of view, you are more assured of what you're getting. And from a selling point of view, it's easier to sell because of that. So in those cases, you can actually make it easier to sell the coin, and sometimes you can actually realize more money because of it. So that's the reasons that I've got there. Patrick, isn't there a grading company in Australia? No, there isn't. Hello, Peter. How are you? Mick says buy the coin and not the slab. Yes, that's correct, Mick. That is absolute sound advice. Not all MS65s are the same, but the PCGS slab gives you more assurance of what you're getting over a rare coin. And hello, Joe. How are you? Right, so let's have a look at some coins that we got graded and why we did it. This first one, wrong button. Commoner's Mark, 50-cent Clancy of the Overflow. Why did we get this graded? We got this graded because we had access to an ample supply of these because we're a mint dealer, and we took the time to look through all of those coins and pick out, I think we picked out 3 out of 100 to get graded because we thought these were the best examples. And for people that are collecting the highest graded examples of these coins, this is an opportunity for them to buy one without having to go through the trouble of buying huge numbers of raw coins and looking through them themselves. So this is this example of the grade rarity. This one was a MS68 or something, I think. And, you know, by the time we get this graded and we pay the wholesale price and it actually sells, we'll be lucky to make $15 out of this. But some people want this stuff, and that's why we do that. So this is an example of a grade rarity. It kind of contravenes last week what I said about should I get my latest mint product graded, and I believe the answer then was it depends. For us, we get access to more of this material than most other people, so we send off the best 1 or 2. We don't do it for everything, we just do it from time to time, and that way hopefully this coin is a good example of the type rather than just a random one that you send off because you happen to buy one. Right, so the next coin is something a bit more interesting. This is a coin that we got graded for 2 reasons. So it's a 50-cent on a 20-cent blank, 11.2 gram copper nickel blank that's had a 50-cent design struck on it. Now, the 2 reasons that we did this: firstly, it is a valuable coin, worth a couple grand. So we wanted to protect it and make sure that it wasn't cleaned or damaged or whatever for posterity. So into the future, hopefully this coin remains in the slab that it's in. And the other reason that we did it is we wanted that description on the slab saying that it was struck on a 13.2 gram copper nickel, 11.2 gram copper nickel blank, because we didn't want someone saying, oh, that's just a damaged coin, or that's fabricated, or that's not a real error. Now, these days, if they just come in the shop and they say that, that's one thing, but as soon as they get online and they start spreading that sort of stuff, then that can damage our reputation, and it will make it more difficult for us to sell this coin. On the flip side, if you happen to buy this coin and in 10 years' time you take it on to resell it, or you take it to auction to resell it, there's no arguing with whoever it is that you're trying to sell it to that it's not an error, because it's there in the slab, it's there in black and white. It obviously is an error, but you want to remove as much of that uncertainty as possible, and that's why getting a coin like this graded by PCGS is worthwhile. there has to be an economic aspect taken into account, though. An error coin costs $100 to $150 to grade. Do you get your 50-cent clip graded that you've paid $100 for? No, because you're going to lose money. Okay, you're just going to lose money. It just doesn't make any sense to do that. Do you get your wrong planchet error graded? I probably would. There's probably no reason why you wouldn't. They're usually worth $500 plus, and this gives you assurance of authenticity. So that's why we got this coin graded. We haven't sold it yet, but it will sell, and someone will be very happy with it. And when they come time to move it on in 10 years' time or 20 years' time, they will find it easier to get rid of because it's in that slab. Okay, so that's why we got that coin graded. Now the last one today is a world coin, and it's a British trade dollar, which, if you follow us on Facebook, you would know that this is my favourite world coin. British trade dollars were struck for trade by England in Asia. It's a silver crown sized coin, which means it's about 27 grams. There's about 3/4 of an ounce of silver in it. These were struck from 1896 or 7 till 1931 or 1932. I can't remember exactly. And they are one of the most heavily counterfeited coins in the world. I've seen far more fakes of these than I've seen real ones, and they're not modern fakes either. There were contemporary fakes. Don't think that people in China have only started creating fake coins recently. It's been going on for hundreds of years. So this coin came back graded Unk details, because it's got some environmental damage on the obverse. I was disappointed in the grade. I thought they would grade it Unk, but they didn't. But anyway, Unk details. Now, what for us does that mean? That means that this coin raw, so raw means not graded. We could have moved it on for about perhaps $200, but as soon as it gets graded, it's probably worth another $100 on top of that, because the market out there is assured that it's a real coin. That doubt is removed. The doubt is removed, and people are happy to purchase it. They can go and check the certificate number, check that the coin in the slab matches the one on the PCGS website. They're buying a real trade dollar that has uncirculated details, and it can sit in their collection quite happily, and they're not losing their money. So that's why we got 3 coins graded. Next week I'm going to cover 3 coins that we got graded that we shouldn't have, because I think sometimes there's more to learn from the mistakes than there are from the successes. Catherine and I have already had a bit of a discussion about what that might be. Full disclosure from us, we screw things up as much as the rest of people, but hopefully we'll have 3 good ones next week to show you that we should never have got graded, including one probably from my collection, which I still scratch my head over about what I was thinking. So that should be interesting next week. Now, have we got any questions here? Michael, do fake coins have any value? Yes, they do. That's a really interesting question. There are absolutely contemporary counterfeits, and by contemporary what I mean is that they were made around about the time that the coins were actually issued, and there are also old counterfeits that are worth good money. So examples of contemporary counterfeits that are worth money are the Manders and Twibble florins from 1926, 27, 28 and 31. So those are very collectible and often worth 2 or 3 times more than their sort of bullion grade equivalent genuine florins. There's also the 1928 silver shilling counterfeits, which there's probably only half a dozen of those known to exist, and they're worth $50 or $100 if you can find one of those. They're good value. There are what's called evasion half pennies from the late 1700s in the UK, which were counterfeit half pennies and farthings that were struck all over England because of the shortage of change in the UK, and they are very collectible, probably more collectible than the real ones. There's the counterfeits that were struck by David G, although I wonder about the legality of actually owning those, but if you can find those, they potentially can be quite valuable. But again, I would worry about the federal police. Peter Andrews says rather humorously, the fake $2 are worth jail time. Yes, that's right. So it is actually a federal crime to sell counterfeit currency, Australian currency in Australia. So if you do find fake $2 coins, then you're not allowed to sell them. There was a coin forger in the 19th century who, Beck, that's his name, he's Austrian. Beck forgeries of ancient coins, and they weren't just forgeries, they were also fantasies. His fantasies and counterfeits are extremely collectible and very valuable, perhaps even more so than the real coins that they purport to represent. So Catherine has I'm not sure if she has the coin or not, but she has a letter of inauthenticity from the Mint in the 1970s where they failed to authenticate a 1930 penny. The 1930 penny was fake, so she's got that letter. I'm not sure if she's got the fake coin that goes with it. Base metal silver fakes, contemporary fakes of Australian coins are very collectible. There's a number of people I know that follow our page that collect those, and I collect them myself. So yeah, fakes can be worth money. But usually they're the older ones, not sort of the modern replicas that are designed to deceive, because a lot of the old fakes aren't very good, but they are quite collectible. So I like fakes. We've got a box of fakes coins here. If you're ever in the shop here in Adelaide, please come in and ask to see our box of fake coins. These are all the fakes that we've had shown to us in the 2 years since we've been here, and we've had to upsize the box twice in 2 years, so there are a lot of them around. Yeah, so there you go, fakes. I like fakes, they're awesome. Right, any discussion here? Do fake coins have any value? Brendan says he has a few fake coins. Brendan has a VF detail on a wavy. David G coins, says Joe Seawood. Yeah, they're very collectible. Alex Birkin has 4Es, which are contemporary Roman fakes. I thought 4Es were silvered when they went from full silver to bronze, silvered bronze. I thought that's what 4Es were, but I'm not an expert on that stuff. Josh has bought some fakes for display, and Peter Andrews says the feed is frozen. I hope everyone can still hear me. We've been going for 28 minutes, which is completely over time. I've really enjoyed it today. Thanks to everyone for taking part. And next week, as I said, coins we got graded that we shouldn't have, and any coin news that might happen in the meantime. Hello, Paul. You've got here at the end, mate. It's good to see you. Everyone, please stay safe this week. Happy collecting, and we'll see you same time next week. Again, as always, if you've got any ideas, please send us a message, give us a call, let Catherine know, and we will talk about it. We've got a list of upcoming topics over there on the whiteboard already, so you guys have been fantastic with giving us ideas. We really enjoy doing this, and we rely on you for feedback and input so that we can keep making it, keep doing it, and keep it interesting. Bye for now. Have a great day. Stay safe.